people getting out of the way for them. They also have their helicopter overhead on this one. So we'll see what the strategy is here, where they're headed. But taking the right-hand shoulder to try to avoid LAPD. And, you know, all it takes is one wrong move, and this is going to end in a crash.
Yeah. And you're watching this stolen Mercedes weave in and out of traffic here on the 10 LAPD right on the suspect's tracks. We're told 2 people are inside of this stolen Mercedes SUV that was stolen out of West LA. We want to go
enjoy my damn dinner. Whoa. Whoa.
That could have been a crash easily right there.
That is why you don't drive over that spearhead at the interchanges. Now getting onto the 10 eastbound. Should be, that looked like the Palms exit. 405 interchange.
Out of the car there by that bus. So they're asking some LAPD officers that are in the back to go kind of check and see if they can locate anything that may have been
This is
where that bus was. And as you mentioned, yeah, 2 occupants, Texas license plates on this. Airship asked if they were going to go into tracking mode, and the watch commander said no, let's stick with it. So that's why we're seeing these officers here still right behind them.
No more tracking mode.
The watch commander actually asked if they wanted to go in tracking mode, and watch commander said no, we want to keep moving. So that's what we're doing right now.
Back up.
Get off the freeway.
I'm back up now.
Well, Des, this is that weird spot where you can kind of get off or not, right?
Yeah, I believe this was a collector lane that they took, one of those kind of through lanes right there.
All right, here we go, folks. Just got done. Sorry, a minute or 2 late. Spaghetti with meat sauce was delicious. We are back with the chase. No noties went out on Twitch. We are within 4 hours of the first chase today. So, the only reason why you're in here is because you either follow the Twitter account or you stumbled upon this. If you got people that rely on those Twitch noties, this is when you have to follow @SkyWob Alerts on Twitter. It is a safety net for this exact situation, as we have a second chase here shortly after the first one.
They're trying to get out of the way for LAPD, but unsuspectingly also getting out of the way for the suspect in doing that. So, you know, what they're supposed to do, unfortunately, kind of
so we are
the suspect, but frankly, maybe it doesn't even matter because the
10 eastbound. This is one of the busier interchanges here in Los Angeles. Rush hour 7:13 p.m. 10 eastbound coming off the 405. La Brea Avenue on the 10 eastbound. Next up, we just passed Highland. The Highland exit should be La Brea, and then after that, I'm not sure.
Surrounding how this SUV was stolen.
No, not that we've heard. And again, these are Texas plates, so
stolen Dodge Charger is the one.
Or if it was somebody who already lived here but still had Texas plates and it was stolen. All those details are still unclear. All we know is that these West LA officers from LAPD's West LA division got behind the vehicle, ran the plate, came back stolen. They tried to stop it, and that just didn't work. And, the helicopter has been over this pretty consistently. And, Des was headed to this. They were on surface streets in Santa Monica, which really 7 nights a week in the city of Santa Monica, right there by the pier.
Interchange exit. He just did this last time, and he went over the curb.
Great that they're still going, but it's better that we're on the freeway.
Okay, so we're coming off. We were in Santa Monica side streets.
At one point, did it seem like
always busy down there. Eventually got onto the 10, so there was no 405 interchange. The 10 you can pick up Santa Monica. It'll take you from the 10 freeway will take you from Santa Monica all the way to Destin, Florida. I think is where it stops, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe the East Coast, maybe Daytona. Maybe Jacksonville. It runs across the country.
We've not heard anything about it being
the most southern east-west route possible.
But that was something that they were talking about before we got on the 10 freeway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
We are, in fact, headed towards Downey, California. All roads lead to Downey. We've got a little ways to go, but we are in mid-city headed towards downtown. You guys know that there is an interchange at the downtown L.A. There's the 10, the 110, the 101, the 605. What else is down? You can get onto like 5 different freeways right at downtown.
They're certainly going to want to recover that to figure out where it is as we continue.
And we are about 15 minutes from that. It is hell during rush hour because everyone is there. It turns into like 8-9 lanes, and everyone's trying to move over and get into their specific highway. And some of the lanes don't have traffic. So since some of those freeways, you got people doing 70 miles an hour and then just one lane to the right, it's practically a parking lot.
You have these pockets where it speeds up a little bit. up to about 50 miles an hour, but then kind of grinds back down to 20, maybe 30 miles an hour. And this is, a particularly dangerous time of the evening because you might be lulled into thinking, oh, the traffic's getting back up to full speed, and then it just kind of starts to slow down again. We've seen a lot of crashes in my many years of traffic reporting that have happened that way.
No clue what happened with the last chase. I imagine they didn't get caught, but here we go. 65 miles an hour in rush hour traffic, 7:16 p.m. Those of you just trickling in here, hello. I know the notification on Twitch did not go out. The room is starting to fill up here once again. Got to tell your people we're live, or follow the account Skywob Alerts on Twitter. We are within the 4 hours of going live with the last chase. So
towards downtown or in the left-hand lanes, she's about to go by another LAPD unit right here, and then to the right takes us to the southbound Harbor Freeway down towards the ports of LA. And then, continuing from there, we just go towards the East LA interchange where,
yes,
things get very messy.
The Rayos was delicious tonight.
Still plenty of traffic in the immediate future of this suspect, and we will see how far they want to take this. And another thing I noticed, though, they had authorized spikes and were probably wondering about a pit.
Just who is that? El Wolf 11, what's up? Appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel this evening. We are on the shoulder on the 10 eastbound at Jefferson Park area, headed towards downtown. That is an exit. That is not an interchange. We are getting off the freeway. This is getting off the freeway for sure in Jefferson Park.
Yeah, that suspect now getting off
Western Ave. It's going to be busy as shit. Now, there is potential to just get off and come right back on. Or it sure looked like he was going to go ejectocito, try and go down that damn hill. He does not like being in traffic, though, as we can tell.
And Mike, these get when they just continue to go and go. It seems like the suspect gets more desperate, and it seems like we've been seeing them build.
Okay, not back onto the freeway.
Sadly, ending
a little bit of swervy going on here.
My truck that caught fire, but this last one where that crash.
Yeah, we're approaching USC Jefferson Park.
Hurt and no one was hit by the suspect, but you gotta wonder, hey, stop before something like this happens.
That's wrong side of the road.
Right now, kind of aimlessly crossing over the
no, I think he's trying to peek ahead. That's wrong, definitely wrong side of the road for no reason.
In front of him, so kind of needlessly putting people in danger now. Really weird now he's going around traffic. But, when he was getting off the freeway, Desmond got kind of a tight shot of the driver's side there. And it looked like perhaps...
those CHP units are tight. We are up to 60 miles an hour on Adams Boulevard. Popular street and police chases, 60-plus miles an hour through stop signs. Going to go up to 3 stars here for the reckless driving as well as the one. And the CHP are engaged in this one. No surveillance mode right here. This could be a pit.
Almost look like they want
to line it up for a pit. Hard swerve. Look at the swerve. They hitting the gas hard there.
It looked like that might have spooked the suspect a little bit there. But
does not like when they get close. That's a solid red light. Thankfully, that was not a 4-way intersection. 80 miles an hour, Adams Boulevard.
They might do that, but
pursuit tree in the way.
I believe we've heard pit authorized yet at this point, and we do have quite a bit of traffic. So. They may have been setting up for that, but unclear if that.
This is a Dodge Charger. Yes, you guys are correct.
We're back northbound here on Western Avenue.
These Dodge Chargers got such great pick-me-up. They go to 0 to 60 instantly. Approaching another red light, busy intersection. Western and Adams. It does not get any busier than this. It looks like we're getting back onto the 10. That should be the 10 eastbound.
Here now, it seems like we're back on full-on pursuit.
Okay, back headed towards downtown now, Downey Norwalk. If he were to go 10 to the 605, that would be the way to get to Downey Norwalk.
Let the suspect cool down.
60, the 60 is also a possibility. There's the 101, the 110 coming up.
Patrol cars can only get so far behind the
It's a spider web.
They can't. If you're in heavy rush hour traffic, it's hard to keep that distance. So tracking mode doesn't always work. And then even if you go into tracking mode and you do keep that distance, sometimes it means nothing to the suspect at all. And the watch commander will make the decision, look, tracking mode's clearly not working. Let's get back into pursuit, because if you're in full-blown pursuit mode, at least you can warn other drivers, right? If you were right behind the suspect, lights and sirens on, at least you can warn people to kind of get out of the way, which we are seeing is being somewhat effective here. So it does look like we are kind of back into pursuit mode here. Des, are we still eastbound on the 10, it looks like?
Yeah, we are still east on the 10. Again, these are the collector lanes right here. I believe he'll still have the option for either the 10 or the 110 on this one as we pass by Vermont. And, squeezing between cars there, basically splitting lanes, almost like a motorcycle.
That was so close. You guys see how that spearhead sticks out? All right, for those of you not in LA, when you're driving on the 10, you're near downtown, they paint the what that lane will take you to on the freeway. So there you saw 10, 10, 10 in lanes 1, 2, and 3. The 101 is going to be all the way over in lane number 7, the far left lane, if I have 1 through 7 correct. So he's in the lane right now that'll stay on the 10 eastbound. I think lane number 1 is the 110 southbound. Lane number 3 is 110 northbound.
And what was concerning to me at one point, it seemed like
it's 110 on the left. What did I say? 101? Yeah. 110 northbound should be on the left, right?
Like they were just weaving in and out of traffic for nothing.
Well, and I caught that too.
What's up, Mr. Romo? M. Romo, I should say, 864. Thank you for joining us. That's tight.
It looked like at one point he was on his phone. So
left 2 lanes are 110 northbound. Yeah, that's what I meant. 101 is obviously once you get up to take the 110 just past downtown, then you get to the 101 interchange, just short of Dodger Stadium.
Out of the car. Remember, we had talked about that bus. There's that bus. And you'll see, it looks like we slowed it down. There you go. See that white thing come out of the driver's side?
Whoa.
Yeah, so definitely something came out the window. That's what caught the attention of the airship. We have no
Didn't see that. And if we look in the live window, came up on him once again.
By that police helicopter.
So now it's the 10 is going to bottleneck here into a 3-lane highway with an on-ramp coming from the 110 interchange. So as heavy traffic as you can possibly get, as the CHP in pursuit does have a little mini night sun outside their passenger window.
Yeah, maybe trying to hide him and probably hoping that the officers are going to keep with them and not stop to pick up whatever they threw.
Right.
So, the LAPD officers, hopefully somebody was able to go back and pick that up off of the freeway. And,
littering and
where pursuits go to die. So we'll
smoking the reefer.
If that's what the game plan here is.
I can't believe I missed the easiest pun during the 10 chase, by the way. I saw someone in the chat said, criminal intent should have been the name of that chase. Perfect, whoever said that. Criminal intent.
Yeah, and, in this situation, we have seen the ground units be, now it sounds like you may be going to the 110 north here, but, ground units have been pretty on this guy's tail. When we get into downtown and they're in tracking mode, that's when things really get sticky.
Oh no, this is a downtown exit. We do not want downtown driving, folks. We know those pursuit buildings cause all sorts of havoc with us trying to track it. This is the convention center. I think this is the off-ramp. It's going to dump him at the convention center. It's the worst place to be. Yeah, this is not good for the chase.
Hopefully this guy.
This is the best move possible for the suspect because he has potential to lose the helicopters. This is the 110 northbound with the potential, if he stays in the right lane, he can get off downtown.
Car pursuit right here that started out of West LA. This blue Mercedes.
So if he stays left and doesn't go right here, we can stay on the 110. There's no way. The 110 is even busier than the 10 is.
The freeway at 1.
And he's in that right lane.
The police helicopter.
This is downtown LA Convention Center right here. Now we're on the shoulder in the right exit lane.
Up to SkyCal's Desmond Shaw. And Desmond, as we go here through this downtown area and traffic is building up, what do you expect here?
Well, I mean, I get some criticism for saying it before. We all know what happens in downtown Los Angeles, and Mike mentioned it. And so when I see a suspect take the northbound 110, obviously, what is?
Oh, he didn't get off though.
What they're going
that was it right there. Okay, we're staying on the 110 at least.
They did just miss the collector lanes for the downtown exits.
Thank God. That was look how big the exit is. 3 lanes dump you into different parts of downtown off the 110. Now he's stuck on the 110 to at least the northern part. He'll head up towards like Grand Street, 7th Street Metro will be on his right. There'll be another chance to get off before Dodger Stadium.
And it sounds like the watch commander agreed with that assessment, and so now the units on the ground are right behind.
They are tight. And look at those Dodge Chargers that pulled over. Smart move there.
If the Santa Monica Freeway is not the last to clear,
101 will be an option.
Downtown LA, those northbound lanes.
101 northbound, which we've been on multiple times here. I feel like I should reposition myself
because there's traffic here. There will still be some chances here to bail from the freeway as one of those aforementioned tall buildings gets into the shot right here.
Yeah.
But LAPD so far sticking with this one, really, really sticky on the ground.
And Desmond, this is the closest, one of the points of closest that I've seen LAPD, the ground units behind this suspect.
Yeah, I mean they're practically right up on their bumper
Right.
whenever they have the opportunity for that because again I think
Yeah,
they have
there's
to
only
know
one
at this
only
point
one road that's
what
going to be worse
suspects are
traffic than
probably
this
trying to
at
do
this hour,
by
and that's the
taking
101.
pursuit towards downtown Los Angeles.
It could be 2 a.m. and the
Years ago,
101's
was
got
not that
traffic on
common
it.
of a thing, and it just
But
seems
he's
like
in the
there's
far
a
left
lot
lane.
of
I think
folks
the
out there who
exit
may not
is
be their first
on.
rodeo running from the
It is on the
police,
left. Okay,
and
there, it was
they
it right
have a
there.
plan to run. And so
You can see the 3 green
LAPD is,
signs. We're going to open up a little bit
trying
as we're going to
take
come into
a
multiple
more
highways.
aggressive tack to try
Past
to
the
prevent them from doing
JW,
that.
headed up towards
It would definitely,
Wilshire.
makes sense. So we will be leaving downtown now, headed up towards the 101 and Dodger Stadium. And then
There's also the 5.
Stick with the 110 onto the
They stay on the 110. The 5 will be a lot more open.
And we'll see. So far, looks like the suspect is going to avoid the 101 there on the right and stick here.
Look at the 101, man. Where is everyone going on the 101?
Mike Rogers, we want to go back over.
Doesn't the 134 take you to the valley too? Why are there so many damn people going to the valley? Look at it's gridlock over there. There's cars not even moving onto the 101 northbound.
A suspect did make it into a garage, but police were right there on his tracks, and I think that suspect was apprehended.
Yeah, so that actually was in Sherman Oaks, but same kind of concept.
Yes.
It's where
This is really picking up. This guy is not stopping anytime soon. 5 freeway interchange based on that sign is 1.5 miles away right now. I bet he's. If I was a gambling man, I would say he's going to hit that 5 interchange to get away from some of the traffic and head north.
Difficult because, like I mentioned, all those one-way streets. But you know what I am listening to right now, Chauncey, is trying to coordinate with CHP to have CHP come take this over. It sounds like
this isn't CHP?
On the freeway long enough that they want CHP to.
It might be Santa Monica PD or something, right? Because it started on side streets there.
Thank you. Once again, we are following this stolen pursuit, this SUV right there. This suspect, we're told, 2 people inside of this car, in and out of traffic. Desmond, we talked about how the police helicopter, they were able to spot the suspect throwing something, and we didn't see that, but we went back and rolled the video, but something
Chief of Staff, what's good? Welcome in.
The car as they were passing the bus going.
Garrison, appreciate you, my friend, as always. Oh, a little stop and go. What was that maneuver?
Sorry, I was just remarking that person seemed to be refusing to get out of the way there for LAPD.
Did you guys see that? The Dodge Charger in lane number 1 came to a complete stop and trapped the cop behind, and now he's taking off. He saw that shit, and I'm like, I'm out of here.
The flight officer mentioned that and told
That was a Draymond Green screen right there.
Stick with this pursuit, so they kind of
Moving
have to
screen.
keep their attention divided on that. I hadn't heard anything else about what that may have been. This is going another complication. Even though we're leaving downtown, is we're going to be coming up through the tunnels here on the 110, and so this is going to complicate things for us as well. We'll try to keep this shot here. So the tunnels here that will go through the 5 interchange and that frankly horribly constructed ramp that is on the left side of the freeway, which is causes so much.
There it is,
angst
right there.
to, LA drivers. So we're coming up on this point. There's the first tunnel, and we'll be going into the second tunnel here, right by Dodger Stadium here momentarily.
And I will see if.
That's it right there.
Goes under this second
Good
tunnel.
job, Des.
It seems like that.
Second tunnel
maybe
coming
back
up.
in tracking mode now, Mike. I don't see.
Tunnel
LAPD.
chase.
I know you said at one point that CHP is.
It's not too long of a tunnel. He'll pop right back out. There's a 3rd tunnel? I didn't know there's a 3rd tunnel.
And I'm also listening.
There
to
it goes.
The Watch Commander now.
The red and blues make it easy to track.
Where this started in, this started in West LA, and we're now, coming up near Elysian Park, Dodger Stadium. So the other issue is now the Watch Commander is saying, okay, I only want 3 units involved in this. Everybody else needs to return to the division because now you're running into a situation where you
just
can
get
be
off?
the division kind of not as covered as you want it. So they're having to make
Might have
those
just gotten off
choices,
there.
About where they want, as we hear them going northbound on the 5 freeway now after coming out of those tunnels. So we'll see. Hopefully, there's those units.
Who knows?
Staying right behind.
I've watched too many damn chases, man.
And
I knew the guy would hit the 5. Why would you not hit the 5? It's like galloping in the Serengeti.
They're all just kind of enthralled into these chases, and how
Freedom. The 5's going to feel like freedom
how it
compared to the
started.
110.
But I always get what's going through this person's mind. What are they thinking? What's the end goal here? And each suspect, it's different. You never know. You never know what like especially here in the beginning, we don't know the circumstances.
Those Dodge Chargers are getting out of the way like GTA. You turn your lights on, and how the cars always pull over to the side of the road. They're doing it here. 5 northbound, just passing Dodger Stadium, is likely going to be on the right-hand side of the screen. That Dodge Charger not getting out of the way. Garrison Carroll giving out 5 Tier 1 subs to the community. We got smoke coming out of the front right. I think that's just going to be dust in the shoulder. Garrison, I appreciate you as always. Thanks for always hanging out with us. 60+ miles an hour. W's in the chat for Garrison. Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah, I think that is dust and debris. That is not a rim. Looks like dusty smoke to me, not blue smoke.
Seems like over the last couple of years, more and more people that are just willing to run from the police for whatever reason. And I mean, to be honest with you, I think part of the calculation with at least some of these suspects is they think there is now a better chance of them getting away than they used to. I mean,
Chief of Staff, I see you. Sneaky giving out subs to people.
They are going to get caught.
One at a time. Raise your hand if you're in the chat.
Has definitely changed, and so that is definitely part of this as well.
Using his turn signal at the very least, and the lights are on. I see some hazards as well.
A lot of pursuit tactics have been changed. A lot of things have been dialed back, and I mean, any one of these could be factors, or this could just be a desperate person in a desperate situation with a mental breakdown. I mean, there is a multitude of factors that could be playing, into factor here.
Safety
but
first.
The fact that this vehicle has Texas plates is definitely interesting. Makes you wonder if this is someone who's even familiar with where they're at, if they're just visiting, or if this was taken from Texas by someone who lives in LA. I mean, that's another factor with all of this as well. So. Unclear at this point if there is any calculus going on or if they're just kind of dragging this out at this point. But regardless, it does continue now on the Golden State Freeway, northbound headed towards Burbank.
All right, and we don't see any ground units close by. Mike, any update as to where this is headed now? Are we still going, or we're going back to
there you go. Love to see that in the chat. Chief of Staff giving out a sub to someone that got fired today. Matt Pat 824, drop a W in the chat for your boy, Chief of Staff. The Robin Hood
tracking mode based on what the airship can and cannot
of
see.
birds in the air,
which is a fair middle ground, if you will. There is a lot of times where the watch commander says, I don't care if you can't see him, we're not going back into a chase. And then that's how you end up losing these suspects. But this watch commander is definitely taking the advice of the airship, which says, hey, I'm not going to have eyes on him.
No, you guys can't play that card now. Chief of Staff, don't fall for it.
Let's do it. Same thing when you go through the tunnels. Hey, I'm not going to be able to see him through the tunnels. Can we, go back?
Okay, back to the chase. Swerving. Oh my God, there was a massive Dodge Charger sitting at the spearhead of the exit ramp. And now that we're getting away from the metropolis in the city, as we get increase our distance and proximity from it, it's going to open up.
Because we're getting so far away from
which will likely mean
in the Western Division, and
more aggressive driving.
Leave that area unmanned.
Right, and that's when we get into situations like this, that's probably why they want CHP to come in and take this over.
Right.
CHP is a statewide agency; they could chase them to the moon and back if they wanted to. So CHP just has better geographical resources to kind of chase this person. Now, I will say we still haven't gotten very far out of the city of LA, although technically now we're going to be coming up into the Glendale Burbank area, which isn't theirs, but we're certainly not in an area where we're so far away from LAPD's jurisdiction. We are still near that, but they
sun is setting.
CHP to take over simply so that they can send their units
734.
And Mike, what is
leaking into lane number 2 there?
Communicating with each other, but it's still a very chaotic situation. We're trying to make sure we stay in tracking mode. We don't lose this guy. But so how does that changeover happen?
So the beauty of the airship, the LAPD airship, LA County Sheriff, really any of the local law enforcement airships, they have multiple radios in their helicopter. So while the tactical flight officer is talking to units on West LA's frequency, on a separate radio, they're talking to CHP on the radio. And so that airship, because otherwise you would have to have dispatchers communicate with other dispatchers, communicate with the field. This way, it's more cohesive, and the
Everybody knows.
Yeah, the airship can talk to CHP dispatch, but those CHP units can also hear what the airship is saying, and it just makes the transfer a little bit easier. And then once CHP gets in place, sorry,
God.
just listening to that. Once they get CHP units in place, CHP will tell LAPD, all right, we're ready, and the airship will tell all of the LAPD units, back out, CHP is going to take this. So what I'm listening to now, though, Chauncey, we still have the right car, but because they're in tracking mode, there is no night sun on it, and the airship for a second kind of lost him a little bit there because he is kind of starting to blend in. We're going freeway speeds, we're not swerving all over the place.
And there was another SUV that looked like the suspect's SUV, so that's probably what they were talking about. Because I was like, I don't know if that's
Burrito Queen. What's
so
up?
That's what they were probably making sure they had the right suspect. This Mercedes
Mumble
SUV
crap
that was
says
stolen,
time
from
flies when
West
you're
LA.
having
We're
fun.
still
Wow,
on
17
this,
months in
stolen
counting.
car pursuit. Susie Sudd joining me here now at 7:35. We have been on this for about 30 minutes now. And this guy not giving up. We're told by officials 2 people in this car at one point. The driver throwing something white out of the car that police were able to notice. Mike, we were talking about that CHP exchange and now just in full tracking mode. And it seems like that this just may go on and on and on until something happens or they go back to the pursuit mode.
Yeah, and as we're kind of climbing back up a little now we're kind of going back and forth, but he was gaining some speed there for a little bit. And yeah, I mean, at this situation,
90. That's 95. That doesn't seem like 95. I guess those other cars are doing steady traffic. We're in the HOV lane now.
Or the car gives out, or whatever, what have you. But at over 100 miles an hour on the freeway, on a busy freeway, you're definitely not going to see a pit. A spike strip is probably
That's 105
because of how busy the freeway is and how wide the freeway is. We've seen spike strips on the freeway a handful of times, but they are difficult to do.
That is fast as shit. Look at that Dodge Charger go. 115 in the HOV lane.
Still waiting to see if
hard. Look how hard he has to go on the brakes just to get down to 90. He almost rear-ended that other Dodge Charger in the HOV lane. That took some pretty significant slowing down.
LAPD might go into tracking mode. They do that often.
Did it touch 120?
Right there on its tail, but they do that often when the person is driving that way, driving fast.
Sorry, real quick, Susie, that is CHP.
That's
the
CHP now.
unit.
Okay.
So it sounds like we are starting to do the handoff where we are. This video is actually from earlier.
What are you doing,
we are starting
K-Cal?
to see CHP get involved in this. I don't know if we can go back to the live.
Go back to live.
Guys, but CHP is now starting to take over this, probably from their Altadena office.
I want to talk to you, Mike, about just
what the fuck?
stopping methods.
Why do you always do this?
Different in terms of what kind of sizes is, what kind of car it is, as we slow down just a little bit here. But the pit maneuver is a very difficult thing.
I'm loading up the alternate.
Yeah, they're a little bit more high profile, right? And it looks like we're blacked
So
out
annoying.
now, too.
Now we turn the lights off. This is what we missed because he had to show us a fucking replay again. Now the lights are off. He's thinking he's going to go incognito. His head is out the window looking backwards, doing 100 miles an hour on the 5 northbound.
On a freeway like this going over 100 miles an hour. But you're right, Susie, a pit maneuver can be more difficult.
No lights on. This is extremely dangerous as there is a bullet on the 5 northbound. That CHP officer is right there, stuck right to him.
Enforcement agencies mostly don't do those at any speeds higher than 30 miles an hour, just to keep everything safe like that. And it looks like, Des, we're getting off here?
Looks like we are exiting
Getting off the
into
freeway.
downtown Burbank as we are off the freeway at Empire Street, or very close to downtown Burbank here. So you saw the first opportunity that the suspect had to get up above 100 miles an hour. They took it at 110, but CHP sticking right with them here. Might be a good opportunity for a pit maneuver. I believe all CHP officers are pit certified if they get the permission from their sergeant to execute that. Going to be pretty difficult, though, with these speeds and these traffic conditions onto the wrong side of the roadway. But you see, it was pretty fortuitous timing by CHP to come and get involved in this, as they were just about to, the LAPD airship, it sounded like they were really struggling, as you said, Mike, with keeping up with this.
You guys see that maneuver?
That CHP.
Oh, God, now up to 70, lights are back off.
The LAPD helicopter is still overhead. I still hear them talking as well. I'm curious if CHP's helicopter will now come in from Fullerton on this one, but we've got lights out and some dangerous driving. Wrong side of the road here.
Oh my God, wrong side of the road.
Downtown Burbank, lots of shopping, lots of restaurants.
Oh God, intersection, big intersection. Oh, that was completely blind left turn. He just threw the dice at the craps table, hoping that there was no car coming on a green light at a perpendicular intersection.
If you're familiar with that area, it's a big shopping center. just parallel to the freeway, and it looks like they're going down 3rd Street now.
He wasn't able to
And,
see the view that we
it's been
did
a
from the
reset for our
helicopter.
viewers. If you're
There was a
just
big
joining
building
us
there.
here on KCAL News, this is breaking
DJ
news.
Ryerson.
We've been following this pursuit
King,
for
one
about,
oh, Jesus, how many
30
subs
minutes
did you
now.
just give
They
out?
picked it up in the
25?
Sunnyvale area, and it went down PCH.
Dude, that's the most I've ever
directions and then
seen.
came back up and onto the 10 freeway east.
I want W's in the
Went to
chat.
Mercedes
Unlimited W's in the
downtown
chat for
LA.
DJ as well as
And,
Chief
here
of
we
Staff.
are in the city of Burbank after going up the 110 to the 5 freeway.
I'd love to celebrate you, DJ, as we continue here at 50 miles an hour without lights on in Burbank.
Right on their tail, Mike.
Yeah, and listening to it on the CHP frequency, as Desmond was curious if they're going to launch their helicopter, they are. H-50 is coming up from Fullerton to relieve
Okay,
LAPD.
that's how you know this is about to be a 4-star chase. They are sending the Fullerton airship to cover this, to add support.
So CHP is going to take this forever. We are surface streets, as Des mentioned, in downtown Burbank. Still, looks like blacked out though, which is just so dangerous.
That was a red
to
light.
do that, especially when we're now talking pedestrians and other things like that. At least the road
DJ,
is
thank you
pretty
again.
well, and these,
Anonymous
CHP
Gifter,
units,
Chief of
who
Staff,
don't generally
Kyokin,
do traffic
Garrison,
profile.
all you
The
guys.
CHP is generally all in it.
You're the
Traffic
reason
is
why we
very,
keep doing
very
these
infrequent,
streams.
for CHP. So the good news is you'll have those units right behind them, and hopefully those lights and sirens will alert anybody. And looks like
Is that a freeway? Oh, it's a wide turn for the CHP. My guess is 5 southbound.
Yeah, back underneath us and right underneath us here. So fortunately getting out of downtown Burbank, because that was pretty dangerous right there. I thought we were going to go down to San Fernando Road where there's a lot of people out there walking around. Of course, it is dinner time right now. So back on the freeway now, at least out of the danger for pedestrians. But as we're back up to over 90 miles an hour,
This should be headed back towards downtown, guys. So
very, very dangerous. This big SUV.
as we head towards downtown, the traffic's going to get worse and worse.
It's a dark color,
And there's no lights on, and we're doing 100 miles an hour in lane number 2. We're up to 115 without lights on.
115.
Oh my God, that's so fast.
On that gas pedal, all of a sudden you saw somebody right there who was trying to make a turn out of the right-hand lane.
God, I
Just
think
how
we got to
dangerous that
bump this
can
up to
get.
4.
CHP trying to catch up here on
This
the
is
other
so
side of the
dangerous.
freeway. We've seen all kinds of maneuvers here earlier on the 10, zigging and zagging on the right-hand shoulder to evade traffic, and then briefly on and off the freeways. Now we're back onto a full-speed freeway, and the suspect taking advantage of that, just going pedal to the metal here at times over 100 miles an hour.
Still got people trickling into the chat. If there is a chase and we go live, look how close the red and blues are. They're probably stalking him. You have to follow at Skywab Alerts on Twitter. You will not get a Twitch notification if there's a chase within 4 hours of the previous chase before it. And then you're going to be late and miss a chase, big 4-star chase like this. CHP still engaged despite those speeds. Thankfully, they have their red and blues on. By them staying close, the lights not being on that suspect's Dodge Charger, they can at least see the red and blues coming and know something is going on.
Hey, I'm coming to your house, keep the door unlocked, something like that. So who knows what this person's actually doing on the phone there, and whatever it was, if they were trying to come up with a plan, it doesn't seem like it really is working, because they're just kind of aimlessly now driving on the freeways. He's gotten off the freeway twice now, once back off the 10 and then once here off the 5. Neither one of those ever seem to really work out for them. Seems like they know that, and then they get back on the freeway.
Yeah, it's true. Mike's referring to the times that we often...
He goes in the HOV. He loves hitting the gas pedal in the HOV. Up to 100 each. That's tight. That doesn't look like an HOV. That looks like a shoulder to me.
We don't really see a pattern happening right now.
That is not an HOV.
Far away.
He was left of the HOV. He's in the shoulder on the HOV. Going across a quadruple. Do not cross.
Just such a big difference.
That, by the way, is one of the biggest penalties you can get for a traffic ticket.
Locked in by cars trying to zigzag.
Oh my God, 130.
Look at this. They are so...
Oh, those other cars are doing at least 70.
Miles, as we're talking
It's
about
doubling their
now.
speed.
And Desmond, does it look like any of the units are following close?
No lights on.
Now?
No, Susie. In fact, I just heard the one of the ones who was pursuing him just said lost visual on that. Oh, it's white out. They may have reacquired it here. They got stuck behind a couple other vehicles. Obviously, this suspect has no rules that they feel like playing by, where CHP has to be very, very careful passing other vehicles. And even though the freeway is full speed, there's still a lot of folks that are out here trying to get home. And we're going to be coming up to the 170.
God, look how tight he is.
More traffic.
I'm fine with it. I'm completely fine with it. If there are no headlights on, you have to notify the cars in front that there is. There we go. Big time night sun now from the Fullerton airship.
From Police 3.
If that's not Fullerton, it's got to be like an LAPD jurisdiction. They said they were sending the CHP Fullerton airship.
A big shiny light on top of them.
But regardless, we have a night sun. It will alert people here on the 5 southbound.
License plates. We don't know the circumstances surrounding the theft of it. We don't know if this is a person from Texas who now lives here. We don't know if the suspect knows the roads. Or, Mike, you also mentioned this, if this is a nationwide search right now, which started over in the Santa Monica area, and then we picked it up in West LA.
Yeah, there's just a ton of unknowns here. Generally, and it all depends on the circumstances of the crime, but, if it's a stolen vehicle, it could be put into a nationwide database for somebody to stop.
Right.
The way they're chasing it, I'm kind
Bro,
of leaning more towards
what just happened?
It was stolen here. And
Dude.
just somebody that had Texas plates. And
DJ Ryerson just gave out 50 subs.
So sorry about that. We're just kind of coordinating.
50 subs? How many people still need a sub? You may have just gifted the entire channel a sub.
The other place where pursuits go to die, which is the Grapevine.
It's true, just
Jeez.
past Castaic is where we.
I don't know what to say, DJ. Besides, let me send you free merch.
I think they deliberately do that just
You have
because
earned
they
yourself.
want, as we
Didn't I send you one already?
those,
You get more. Just tell me what you want. Send you any t-shirt you want.
But again, Mike, you were talking about
Thank
the
you, as
different
always.
divisions of
As
the
we
CHP.
continue on.
They have a different one up there, and they will start chasing from that division.
Oh yeah, I mean right now we're in the brown frequency, the Altadena frequency. Then we're going to go into the tan frequency, which is Santa Clarita, Lancaster, Palmdale. Then you go up there and you have Fort Tejon. Then you go to the other side and you have Bakersfield. And then there is no shortage of CHP offices and officers to chase this as long as they can. And when they get up into the Grapevine, it's not good for us, but it does.
Right? I don't know what else to give DJ. All I got is free merch to send.
There are a little bit more opportunities for some spikes. There are some.
He gets merch. It's like Subway. You buy 7 sandwiches, you get the 8th free. Let me send you t-shirts for all your subs.
And in the Grapevine, because those officers up there are able to get ahead of it. The road is a little bit more narrow, and they're able to do a little bit more with it.
Yeah, you can imagine trying to throw a spike strip out into the, many lanes of the freeway. That's certainly impossible to do and very dangerous for officers. When they throw a spike strip out, they first
We
have to
continue on. We are in
establish
Pacoima.
an area
We are not
where
northbound.
the
We are
suspect is going to
definitely
travel to.
southbound.
They have to
I think
first
the
then
graphic is
get
always
ahead of them
wrong.
somehow.
I don't know when this
There's some
started,
sort of
the
pattern to get
GPS.
ahead of them,
I'm
and
pretty
then that
sure this
officer
is
has to almost
southbound.
throw that thing out ahead of them, ahead of the suspect, then pull it back in, and hopefully one of those will puncture the tire and incapacitate the car. But certainly it's hard to do, especially at these kind of speeds. And as Mike was talking about, perhaps
Is it northbound?
along the Grapevine where it does narrow.
R.
and
Higgins
there
says,
are
I'm in
so
Burbank.
many lanes
Pacoima's
to
north.
throw
Yeah.
these strips.
Pacoima's definitely not between Burbank and downtown. I'm just so scarred by this graphic always being inverse. And when we got back on the freeway, we were going underneath the airship, so I must have gotten turned around there on those side streets when we got off in Burbank. But it's almost, I guess, for the best that we're northbound. There is one problem, and that if we stay on 5 northbound for too long, we're eventually going to lose the signal. The helicopters cannot go through the passes when it's dark out either.
People in the car. How this will end, especially as we head towards the Grapevine, we don't know, but we are following it as.
It looks like his lights are back on, doesn't it?
Mike, how are we on?
No, I guess not.
Good.
Yeah, it all depends on the airport.
That's an exit ramp.
So we're trying to stretch out now.
That is definitely an exit ramp without an interchange. We are back to side streets, which is going to open up the possibility of a pit maneuver. And I don't think CHP is in much of a mood here to dance. Last chance to dance before he gets back on the freeway.
Have a spike strip set up, and the officer said that it was successful.
What?
So not sure how many tires were hit, but now we'll see.
Did that happen in the darkness? They said the spike strip connected.
On a Mercedes, although this is a little bit.
Those are some low-profile tires there on this Dodge Charger too.
So we will.
They must have had it sitting in lane number 1 with a blacked-out Dodge Charger.
On the border of Pacoima and San Fernando, and we will see if the vehicle does.
That's a solid red light. Night sun on top. Back left looks like it is starting to go down a little bit.
I was telling you this happened, and it must have happened very quick. I missed that.
Yeah, I think it must have happened right when we went underneath when we went underneath the 118.
Can't pit a parked car.
I just heard him shout, "Spike, Spike," and then they said, "Good Spike." So which
Okay,
means
right,
that
good
did,
spike
so,
means it happened. I was
now
looking
on
for it.
to Rinaldi Street here.
Yeah,
And
the one time we could use a KCal replay. Oh God, is that a Denny's? It's Popeyes. He's in Popeyes drive-through lane.
We've been into a parking lot, trying to get some space here.
Oh God.
Thinking maybe they might be trying to go for to get out and run, go for a footbail right here, but no, they are continuing. We'll see. Will he have the? I'm not seeing any flat tires yet.
Dude, he has been using the brakes up like crazy.
Side, but back out onto the avenue right here onto Rincon Avenue. So
no smoke. We're in
just
Silmar
seeing
now.
If
Yeah,
the tire's gonna
two.
deflate, or maybe we'll have an
We have
opportunity
two
for
people in the
as we
car.
get away from
Two
some of the
suspects.
traffic here.
Night sun on. CHP engaged. Lights not on the Dodge Charger.
The spike strip, that air just comes
Takes about
right
10
out,
minutes for those.
right?
Takes about 10 minutes on the slow drip. They're slow release spikes.
Coming out of a
But a low profile
and
tire
it
will go
takes
a lot
while,
quicker.
And that's why we've seen people drive.
We'll find out in the next 10 minutes if it was actually good or not.
For so long, for miles and miles and miles they can go. Unclear what's going to happen with this car, but certainly good news right now that it did actually, in fact, work, as we were talking about earlier. Very difficult to even set up a spike strip. They have to get ahead of the suspect and know where they're going to go. Maybe they knew somehow that this person was going to exit off that freeway. And as Chauncey and Desmond were talking about how quickly that happened, we almost missed that. But Desmond heard over the radio that the spike strip was, in fact, successful.
Okay, continuing on.
That's right. As we are on, sorry, Chauncey, just reiterating.
Wrong side of the road.
Almost into San Fernando right now, the second smallest city in LA County, sandwiched between Pacoima and Silmar. And we'll see here now, just kind of circling around this area.
Back to a parking lot.
San Fernando area here, a little bit of an industrial area. Now on to Meyer Street.
Guys, would you stop falling for fake live streams? People always say that in the chat. They're lying to you. Back to double yellow. Oh my God! Look at all that traffic in between the two. And that CHP vehicle is stuck to him like white on rice.
Now we are in the city of San Fernando.
And you can really see how desperate they were to going into that parking lot of that Rite Aid. We really held our breath during that time because of the fact that there are people around. Mike at the desk with its update.
I was just going to comment. I think Desmond mentioned it earlier, but you have these newer cars with these newer tires, and if they've got run flats on them, the spikes are going to do nothing. That will quickly take that.
When was the last time this Dodge Charger had run flats on?
That will no longer be a tool, and you spike them, and the tires, run flat tires, they will let a certain amount of air out before it holds, but certainly probably not enough to bring them to a stop. I mean, how many times have we seen them completely spike all four tires, and these people still drive on the rims for 10, 20 minutes here? So this person
going through red lights.
Any issues with what they're doing here? And as Des mentioned, CHP right behind him. And then it looks like, I think Des too, the CHP helicopter is just getting into place now too. So we've got a fresh law enforcement.
Oh my God, wrong side of the road. Another blind left.
They like CHP. I'm sorry, Desmond, go ahead.
No, I just say there's just the cars diving
into a Bank of America.
To evade this. So they did get
feels like he wants to footbail, doesn't it? It's like a dog kind of pacing back and forth, finding the right spot to poop in. You know how they do that? They put their nose to the ground. They do little zoomies.
Another parking lot. Very common to see some of these suspects try to get out if they just have a couple of seconds to try to get out and run into a crowded area like a shopping center or something like that. Makes me think that that's what the suspect may be thinking at this point.
Desmond, I was just about to say that because there was a second time that we've seen.
Right, the way he was driving was like a little swerve, stop, go, and then the dog stops and squats.
Parking lot like that, like you said, it was very concerning during. He's stopping there. It's very concerning when he went into the CVS, that parking lot there. But it seemed like they are trying to find the perfect spot in their mind to park it and get out and run for it.
Yeah, maybe, but now we're in a residential area here. There might even be some dead ends if they don't know where they're going, and it certainly seems to be pretty aimless. So they could definitely find themselves trapped here. If they continue just kind of going left and right into these neighborhoods like this. This is now into the residential area. And you can see just how small the city of San Fernando is because we're actually technically in Silmar already. We were only in San Fernando.
He's at least got the lights back on.
On Aztec Street right here Small residential area there. You see CHP.
I'm gonna start banning people who are doing this fake IG thing in the chat. Lights on, lights off.
It almost seems like at one point they were brake checking.
Stop saying he's live in the
well,
chat.
so,
Just lying to people,
definitely
and they're gonna
a,
leave
weird
and watch
one
something
here,
that's not
and
true.
It seems like, well, I just can't tell if we haven't
Lights
seen any
on,
flat
lights
tires on
off.
this one, but the speeds have slowed down considerably since CHP said that their spike strip was successful. So it may have
Been almost 10 minutes, hasn't it?
Side, that's why we haven't seen it yet.
And it just makes you wonder, are they slowing down because of that or because this is a residential area? It doesn't seem like they had any regard for speed earlier, but certainly slowing down. And we are relieved about that because obviously these are very narrow streets with two cars or cars parked on either side of the road, and obviously not a lot of space for the officers down below to attempt any kind of pit maneuver of any sort.
How about the fighting Luca Garzas?
It is a very narrow road, and there could be people outside walking right now. That's why we get so nervous when we see these.
I think we're still 4 stars as long as these lights stay off.
These suspects, we have no idea where they're going right
Night
now.
Sun,
Again, just going
plus
around
CHP
and
airship, plus no surveillance mode, plus the want, plus the driving equals 4
It's pretty
stars.
incredible that, thank goodness, but they haven't hit anyone or anything because they got really close at many points throughout this chase where they were driving on the wrong side of the road and really could have caused a lot of harm, but thank goodness they did not. But right now, we're just waiting for the spike strip to have some sort of effect that we can actually visually see.
Were they lying to us with Spike Good, Spike Good? Were they calling a bluff?
And that's if that, this truck
Right.
does not have the run flats that you were talking about, Mike.
When was the last time that this Dodge Charger
The SUV has the run flats.
was sold with run
We
flats?
talked about the danger. We're talking about here 15 minutes. This suspect has gone all over the place.
We are coming up on 46 minutes. That is a
we also
long chase by today's standards.
but certainly some dangerous moments and some very populated areas with a lot of folks, a lot of people, and even here as they go through the neighborhoods, it's almost
Would
8
you
o'clock at
guys
night,
stop?
and people may be coming home,
I didn't
people may
say
be,
it.
walking their neighborhood.
I said Dodge Charger. Stop sign.
Never know.
Stop sign, hard left turn. Thankfully, that's a 4-way
It's so
stop.
dangerous.
And it really seems like he is, like you guys mentioned, trying to find a spot to ditch this, but CHP is just not giving them that opportunity. The headlights are back on right now, but when we were in those kind of darker side streets, it almost looked like they were.
At least the
turning them
headlights
on
are
to get a
on.
quick
Okay,
look
we
and
can-
turn them
we can
back
go
off.
3 stars
It
for
seemed
now.
like Kind of they
Back to
needed
3.
see where they were going for a second before they ditched the lights and turned them back off. But look, this is kind of what Des is talking about. They're going down streets. They don't know where they're at. This is a very, very, very narrow street here.
They're coming to
Oh!
a stop, right?
Yeah.
Car stopping.
Just for a
Nope.
second.
Wounded duck.
So it seems like they were because
Doing zoomy poop. Looking for a place to poop.
Looking for the
Poop chase.
perfect time and the perfect place to park this car and get out and run.
And they don't have that opportunity yet. CHP is not giving them that chance at this point.
That looks like a wrong way to me. There was a stop sign facing the wrong direction. Where are we? This is a metro. There's metro buses parked all around. This might be a metro center. Metro center like
LAPD
hub.
Oh, here we go. Footbail.
Door stop. Ejectocito.
Out and we are out at the Metrolink station. Maybe they're gonna
Metrolink
put a
station.
train here.
Train tracks.
They're running
Ah!
the Metrolink train.
We're on the train tracks.
Over the train tracks now onto San Fernando Road. Right out here.
Oh, he's on the highway. No.
Here, I believe, is the driver. We saw 2 people there get out of the vehicle. This guy's holding something, looks like a jacket or something. Dropping some stuff as well now under a canopy of trees. And you'll notice there are no ground units behind this.
Because they can't cross the train tracks.
Within the last couple of minutes, it sounds like they may have actually canceled the ground units and just have
Why?
them overhead. And so this suspect taking that opportunity now.
Hide in the
to get
dumpster.
away.
Hide in the
Looks like
dumpster.
a marijuana dispensary right here.
That's not the right way.
Still in
Oh
the
boy,
spotlight.
you're in it now,
This is
dude.
the one that
You should not have gotten out of that car.
focusing on. So we believe that this is the driver. And now
he gets into
inside
the-
of this establishment right here. So
Does he not know that the chopper is?
CHP's helicopter hopefully trying to guide some units in right on the border of
He's
San
got 2
Fernando
night
and
suns on
LA.
top of him.
Jurisdictions can get kind of sticky, right
He tried to
around
hide.
this area
Can't
because
see
we're
me.
right on the border of the
Yes,
2
we can.
cities.
We can
Taking
see
off the
you.
jacket, that's not gonna
That's not gonna. You're not changing your outfit either. Now he's trying to hide in the tree. He's trying to blend in with the tree.
You all were able able to see, but
that didn't work.
Was running something white coming out of the bag, which resembles what that helicopter
feels like he's waiting to get arrested.
Something white being thrown out.
There we go, out of the trees. But
now the ground units are there. Oh, he's not surrendering.
Now he's decided he wants to give up in this empty field right here. So
what is he doing?
The units a couple of minutes, but it looks like.
Oh God!
He wants to comply, but he needs to get down. He's going to get bum rushed again, and he gets. He
just got speared.
Was not following their directions. They would have wanted him to turn around and get on his knees, and
that was Goldberg.
The officers have tackled him to the ground. They don't know if they're armed and dangerous or what the story is, but. The danger to the public, fortunately, coming to an end here off San Fernando.
He looked right at him. He said, let's go. He said, let's go. Drop the gloves.
So hopefully they will get
why did he want... I was dead on about not only the vehicle looking like it needed to poop, but then he went to the field and wouldn't give up unless he found the right spot. What the fuck?
No wonder I don't feel as clean.
Hurry up.
God damn it.
I'm trying.
Hold on.
This cheap stuff.
How could they go away from the chase? I hate kick hell. Hold on. Eliana is still there. Stay with me, people. We'll find out what happened. Eliana will update us on what happened to the... I'm so done with you, K-Cal. Bear with me, people. Eliana's there. I got it.
And they just moved in for the tackle. These are CHP officers.
Okay, right where we left off.
The arrest. He's fighting them though. He's got 5 CHP officers on him, and he's still resisting. Again, this was a man who was wanted for vehicle theft out of the West LA area.
Now on the call, Eliana Marino, News Chopper 4.
No doubt about it. I'm waiting to hear if his friend, the passenger, is in custody as well. He dropped him off there at the bus depot. So when we can, we're going to focus our attention over there to see if we can see that arrest. But at least for now, the driver in this pursuit is now.
Ah! Did something happen in this chase? That every channel is cutting away right at that moment? What happened? That don't make any sense. I mean, that feels intentional, doesn't it? They wouldn't just cut away like that. Is anyone else over it?
Mowing all those lawns?
Give me a second, people. I'm gonna try and find us another stream. Usually, that's not a great sign. Fox killed it too. Fox is done. ABC is not. ABC's live. Here we go. I got ABC.
But again, it looks like it's coming to an end. Mm-hmm. We, of course, are going to stay on top of this.
Okay. And what we're going to see here is when the CHP officers got to him and then the tackle. They took him down. There was no gentle taking down of this individual. He had been walking away from them while they were shouting orders at him. And whoever was in the lead there elected to take him down to the ground. And that was done.
Well, Mark, thank you so much for joining me as we live stream this pursuit. We're going to have more on Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. But again, we will bring you back to regular programming. Thanks for staying with us.
Okay. Well, I imagine they got the other guy. ABC just killed the stream too. No, they would have stuck with it if they didn't get the other guy. The other guy got out at the Metrolink station too. Anyways, let's go code 4. We are code 4. Drop your 4s in the chat. That was a doozy. what was 130 miles an hour on multiple freeways. I think they touched 130 once. Ejectocito out of nowhere. I don't know what the purpose of that was. These were not the most experienced criminals like we saw from the Long Beach 24-hour fitness guy. We saw the arrest is under review for targeting, for sure. That Goldberg spear leading with the crown and the helmet. Wow. Once again, people, before we sign off, we have merchandise, top left corner, birdsintheair.com. And all of your favorite sayings and community moments are for sale. We should have fur missile and per missile dog collars and cat collars available, hopefully in the near future. This was one of the chase that fell within the 4-hour Twitch rules window, so you need to be following at SkyWob on Twitter. Make sure you get the notification for when these things start. Also follow Twitch, turn on your notifications so that we can go live once again in the future. But we had a 55-minute chase tonight that took us all across downtown Los Angeles. Started in Santa Monica. Stolen car, stolen Dodge Charger goes from where the 10 ends at the ocean all the way to downtown to the 110 northbound through the tunnels up to Sylmar and Burbank. We get off, we get on, we get off, snip, snap, snip, snap. That is tonight's chase. And ultimately, we have a Code 4 situation, and that I believe is both suspects are in custody. And somehow, once again, a chase where nobody during the stream, innocent person gets hurt. We have been running so good in that regard that we haven't seen a T-bone or someone in a crosswalk get hit. Like, that's when these chases don't become so funny anymore, right? So be fortunate that we haven't streamed that out to the world just yet, but it's an inevitability. But another chase is in the books. There's always something different. You always learn something new. Something different always happens. All right. I think we're going to call it there. And I'll be back next time we have a chase, people. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you all next time. Appreciate shout out to DJ, Chief of Staff, Kyokin, Garrison, and everyone who subscribed to the channel. Once again, I continue to do these streams. Otherwise, I would just be watching from the beach. I come back. I run back. I have to run back from the beach to come back and set this thing up. But I do it for us.